So Todd Monken, who is the new head coach in Cleveland, there's a video of Shedeur Sanders a couple of weeks ago walking into Monken's office to see him. Essentially, Monken says to him, hey, we tried to draft you in Baltimore. So to me, it looks like Todd Monken is on board with Shedeur Sanders as his starting quarterback. Will this be the same old Browns? Do we think that Shedeur Sanders has what it takes to be a successful starting quarterback in the NFL? I think Monken is tying himself to Shedeur Sanders, and if he's going to do that, the Browns are going to have to give Sanders weapons. I think David Njoku is on the way out the door. I think you have Harold Fannin, which is solid. Is Jerry Jeudy going to be the guy? He was very inconsistent at times this season. Is Cedric Tillman going to be a solid number 2? I think he can be a field stretcher, but I don't know if he's going to be a guy that Sanders is going to consistently hook up with. Your offensive line still needs a little bit of work. So the Browns right now are in a position where they're going to be going with a younger quarterback, it looks like. You still are paying a ton of money to Deshaun Watson. And if he's supposed to be healthy to start the season, are they going to get rid of Deshaun Watson? Are they going to keep him? If they keep him, do they give him a shot? Does he even deserve a shot at this point? And that's an entirely different conversation. Defensively, I think the Browns need a few tweaks. Offense is where things become an issue because Monken is super excited for Shedeur Sanders and believes that Sanders could end up being his guy, but you still have Deshaun Watson. Oh, by the way, you drafted Dylan Gabriel ahead of Shedeur Sanders, so now you're dealing with that as well. Do you have the weapons around him? Do you have Quinshon Judkins? He had a nasty injury in 2025 as well. When is he going to be healthy and ready to go? And I will talk about free agency a little bit more in my video on Wednesday. I have my top 25 free agents for fantasy football, where I think they're going to land, or not where I think they're going to land, but what I think is a best case scenario for them. And then kind of my thoughts on those best case scenarios. And Cleveland getting a wide receiver is at the top of my wish list for them. Because I don't know, I'm not entirely sure that I believe in Shedeur Sanders. I think he could be a viable NFL quarterback, but I think you're way closer to a Jimmy Garoppolo or something like that. I don't know if I think Shedeur Sanders is going to be way closer to a Kirk Cousins, way closer to a Jimmy Garoppolo, a guy that is going to have some success at the NFL level and at times is going to look solid, but at other times is going to look like he is just in over his head. And he's going to make mistakes and he's going to try and do things that he shouldn't be doing at the quarterback position. That's how I believe it's going to end up working out. That's how I believe it's going to end up working out for Shedeur Sanders. He's going to have some good moments. He's going to have some tough moments. At the end of the day, he's going to have playmakers around him. I don't think that he's going to be the type of quarterback that's going to elevate players to being way better than what they are. And you have some quarterbacks that are like that they elevate the players around them because of how good they are. I don't believe Shedeur Sanders is that guy. I think he's going to be solid. I think he's going to be good at times. I think Cleveland can be competitive at times with him. DJ Moore to the Browns. I do think Chicago needs to trade DJ Moore, but it's all going to depend on what they are asking. But DJ Moore to the Browns, to me, nah, I don't hate that at all. Not at all. As long as they are willing to utilize him correctly, I don't hate that. I don't hate that at all. I think that's a solid assessment. Who would I say Shedeur Sanders is the closest to right now? If I had to give you a Shedeur Sanders comp, he's not a dynamic playmaker like Josh Allen or like a Caleb Williams or a Jalen Hurts. I'm not willing to go that far. I think as a passer, you're going to see some of the same inconsistencies that you see from a Justin Fields or a Kyler Murray, but he's not nearly as dynamic on the ground. I think, if anything, you're going to see him be closer to a guy that started his career also in Cleveland. I think he's closer to a early Baker Mayfield. I don't hate Bryce Young either. I don't, Greg. I don't think that is an awful comparison. To me, he's an earlier Baker Mayfield, a guy that's going to make some plays with his legs, a guy that has that kind of swag and that kind of it factor that you that at times you want. But he's going to be a guy that is going to be an inconsistent passer at times. He's going to maybe try to do a little too much, especially when he feels good, right? Like, you go out there, and last season with Shedeur, they really tried to put him in a position where he could be successful in the short passing game. And you saw that with what like a Dylan Sampson did in the passing game. What Harold Fannin did in the passing game. They really tried to set him up for success short and intermediate. But when you have a ton of success short and intermediate, and then all of a sudden you feel really good about the way you're playing, and then you try to force a ball down the field that you probably shouldn't, that's going to be what Shedeur Sanders is going to do. I don't think Shedeur Sanders is very good down the field. I don't think that he has the same arm down the field that Baker Mayfield showcased at times. I think he's going to have some inconsistencies with the accuracy, but he's going to make some plays with his legs. He's going to have a little bit of swag, a little bit of an it factor. He's going to look good at times, and then at other times he's going to make a play, and you're going to say, what in the world is he doing right now?
Analytics.